Hey, what's going on, guys? John Genshin here. Let's check out my reaction to the Genshin 4.0 live stream recorded live on Twitch.
Fosalor, hereby welcome you to the nation of Hydro and acknowledge the value and significance of your trip. Now, you may rejoice in this.
A little pretentious. Not unexpected. That's beautiful. Looks like
Do you
Mondstadt.
think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera?
To the people of Fontaine, the line between a trial and a performance can be a little blurred. Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. Watch carefully now.
He literally did it!
Blink and you might miss it.
Unironically, Bell user, BT dubs.
Going under!
Whoa! Look at that helmet!
If you look up at the sky from far enough underwater, even the sun is soft on the ice. These fossils are all that's left of these beautiful creatures. I wonder how long before the rest of the world becomes part of this underwater museum, too.
Wait. Who am I?
What's this? That's me!
The water is gradually
More
swallowing our
robots.
memories.
That's...
It won't be long before it swallows us.
We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver
The theater?
sentences accurately?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just remembering it correctly.
It's raining.
Navia!
We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
Oh, so that's a magic trick.
Part of the show?
You gotta be kidding!
What happened?
Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order. Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know and seek the
Kujosara
protection of the
treatment?
guards.
Dear God, it's a whole army of Gardamex. I believe
Is that a Gardamex?
this is indeed the finale.
Your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people.
In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear.
Tartaglia! Actually making a reappearance?
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
Delusion form Tartaglia comes back. He's actually recharged over the past, like, 4 years enough to use it again. Ah, the Gardamex. Oh, also, the new waifu, Navia. Absolutely gorgeous character design, but also, we get to see the weapon. Is she a Claymore user?
Everything you know.
Oh, also, literally this Kujosara looking ass.
Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order.
Look at this.
Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know and seek the protection of the guards.
Dear God,
She's a Claymore character. No! She could have been better.
whole
But I can't wait to see what her abilities are.
army of Gardamex. I believe this is indeed the finale.
So she's a sword. Clorinde is a sword wielder.
Your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind eye to the suffering of the people.
In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing compared to those cold laws you hold so dear.
Ah, then Ajax makes his return. Underwater. Yeah, so notoriously, underwater levels have been the worst levels in games like Mario. I don't know if there was underwater in Sonic. There probably was. I'm interested to see how it goes, but usually that it's... Everybody thinks that, ooh, like an underwater game, you add in Currently, you're just like on like X and Z axis, running around left, right, forward, backward. Adding an up-down element would be really cool. In my experience, it usually overcomplicates things unless it's a game specifically made for that, like Subnautica or something like that. But I'm interested to see where it goes. Cautiously open-minded. Traditionally, I don't enjoy water levels or things like that where gravity is messed up or anything like that. Okay, so after a quick guidance, we'll be able to go explore underwater. That's always my concern with stuff like that, learning the mechanics and how quickly you'll get into the open world, especially with Genshin with being underwater. I'm always concerned I'm going to be locked behind the text wall, but they're saying it'll be quick, so we'll see. Just like getting from whatever the first island it is in Inazuma, spending a quick 8 hours to get to the rest of the islands with actual permission in game. I can't wait to see what the swimming is actually like. It looks like if you look at the bottom, there are 4 different actions you can take. Something for left click, obviously dashing for right click, going down with control and going up with space. That's pretty standard swimming controls. The left click might be an attack of some sort. And actually, if we rewind a little bit, we should be able to see the images for Lynette's skill and burst. Okay, so it doesn't match either of those. Her E, interestingly enough, her E does match the mark that we saw earlier on an enemy that she attacked. So that's quite the frame to pause on. I'm interested in seeing what that is, but that is distinctly different from the left click, which could be an attack here. You can switch characters underwater? I mean, I guess that makes sense. I wonder if they're going to add sections to the previous regions that you can swim around in. That would be pretty cool for Inazuma. Just do an entire, like, just remake the entire country just underwater. Okay. Okay, but then it doesn't look like you'll be able to use your abilities underwater. So all of the characters that can fly, all of the exploration abilities that we have with Zhongli and Albedo, Xiao, Kazuha, they'll all be basically on the same level of usefulness, which makes me think they're going to release some characters with abilities that can go underneath, that can work underneath the water. Oh, they didn't. Thank God, there's no oxygen bar. Oh, thank Christ. There's no. I hate oxygen bars with a burning passion. Wait a minute. They also. Whoa. Hang on. That's actually a pretty cute place for her vision on the bow. They remove stamina consumption for swimming. That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, that's always been stupid. There's no reason to ever have a stamina bar while you swim. Aquatic stamina says track differently. Does not require further unlocking. Nice. And then recovery orbs for that. Does this mean characters can't drown anymore? I would expect all the water mechanics to stay the same in every region other than these specific sections of Fontaine, or maybe Fontaine as a whole, but I wouldn't expect anything to change anywhere else. I would still expect to be able to get, like, killed in the electric water in Inazuma, or drown trying to swim across the mountain Mondstadt, trying to kill Timmy's ducks. Okay, another question. So this is a little off topic, but kind of on topic for what's on screen, right? And I'll say this as professionally as possible, so you can, like, this is going to be in a YouTube video, so you guys can roast me in the comments, roast me in chat. It is what it is. Whenever Genshin Impact released, about 5 hours before that, they made a change to the North America release, where you can't stare at a character's booty while they're climbing. The character kind of goes transparent and, like, disappears. But then you put this on the screen, where you're going to be looking at the character from behind. With a true grader with currents. Okay, all right. Fantastical. Whoa! That's pretty cool. Land area is completely surrounded by water? That's pretty cool. Okay, these cubes look absolutely amazing. If you were just underwater or above water, that would be absolutely dog. But being able to go between in these giant hydro cubes, giant water cubes, it looks so awesome. Because you just fly into it. And then you can just jump out of the water and glide. That looks amazing. Imagine Kazuha going out of it, or Xiao going into it. Oh, that'd be so cool. I think what I've seen so far makes me a bit more optimistic. I feel a bit better about the underwater content, especially the kind of transition from water, underwater to above water. Actually looks pretty smooth. And you talk about putting the player's comfort into consideration. I think that's where the stamina bar came from. Not having stamina when swimming, at least above water, and then not having an oxygen bar. Because, like you mentioned before, putting a time limit on swimming underwater, like basically every game that has you swim underwater puts a time limit on it, and they don't want to. If half the exploration is going to be underwater, that means that half your time is going to be spent swimming up or down. Games like Cyberpunk, I think there's a little bit of. Yeah, there's that in Cyberpunk. They're not made to be, have a lot of exploration underwater. But not having the oxygen will remove the possibility of having certain places that you dive down and you have just enough oxygen to get right down there and get back up, which can kind of remove the skill element from it. Like I said before, I much prefer to not have an oxygen bar, especially if most of your time is going to be spent, or half your time is going to be spent underwater. I mean, obviously you're going to have to move slower underwater than you do above, just as like normal swimming versus walking. Otherwise it would seem kind of weird. But if half your exploration's underwater, you do have the Z-axis to play with, so that's a little bit, that gives you a little bit more. But you want to make the underwater areas very expansive so that it feels big. Whether it's like an ocean or a lake, so it feels, it matches the size of the, like kind of what it looks like on the map. But at the same time, you don't want to make it so big that it takes forever to go from one place to another. That's where their currents come in, and their new underwater stamina. I don't know, stamina management isn't really important right now. I mean, if you're gliding or swimming, it is, but like up on top of the water, like what you can currently do in Genshin. But I don't know, stamina management underwater, I'm kind of teetering back and forth with the ideas of underwater levels, especially for Genshin. Whoa. That was an ability activation there. Oh, that was the special, so you gain the ability to use, you can use an E ability underwater once you start the challenge. That makes me think that they won't release a character with an underwater E ability, or during the challenge it will override that E ability. Yeah, because that was the E. Yep. Was that the left click? It was. Okay, so it looks like it's an aimed ability. So you hold left click. Okay. And then that kills the crab? Okay, but that also activates things. So it doesn't look like that doesn't look like actual combat. It looks like puzzles. There was never was there any actual underwater combat shown? Like, yeah, there's health bars, but like they don't show how to interact with the actual health barred enemy. Unless they're going to show it right here. Nope. Okay. Perfect. That is the part that we need to see the most. This just looks like it's gonna be a little lackluster. If every single character plays the same way, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but if every character has the same abilities underwater, let's keep trucking along. Shields? Every character is a hydro shield they're underwater? Okay. Whoa. Annihilation reaction. When Ousia aligned energy meets Pneuma aligned energy, an annihilation reaction will be triggered, which generates energy. Fontainians utilize such properties to power facilities in the city. Okay. Clockwork mecha. Okay. Makes sense. Innate archetypes. Archetypes! They can they trigger relevant damage effects in combat. Okay, so that is a little odd. I did the grapevine is a powerful thing, but only having Fontaine characters being able to trigger that will not be a big deal if that reaction is not important or not good in anywhere outside of Fontaine. That's my concern with that, unless they're going to possibly add that to other characters retroactively, but I would never expect that. Okay, so it's only for exploration. There is no combat at all. Okay. So that makes me think if you need to have characters with both Ousia and Pneuma, that makes me think the Traveler has to be one and they have to give you a free character with the other. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the mechanics. They wouldn't have exploration mechanics locked behind like generic exploration mechanics locked behind a gacha. If they do, that's absolutely horrible. But I would not expect that. Unless the Traveler can switch between, that would actually be really interesting. But I would expect a character of each. It's a new enemy type. Interfere with the mecha system. Ooh. So these mechas. It's really cool to have the archetypes. I think it's a really cool mechanic to add. However, the arc system for combat, let's talk about it. Players can use some of the Fontaine characters' arc attacks to interfere with the mecha's power system, which means you don't have a Fontaine character, or you're not using the Traveler or Lynette, and you haven't pulled on a character's banner from Fontaine, fighting them will be a lot tougher. Oh, I shouldn't say a lot because I don't know. Fighting them looks like it'll be tougher because you can't interfere with the power system. I feel like that's a level of debuffing everybody when you go into Fontaine. Pushes you to pull their characters, these specific elements, or whatever you need. If there's a level of interference needed, well, I guess not, the crab's not a mecha. The cryo, you have the pyro, Lenny, I guess that's fine. So the point that I was making there kind of fell apart. It's like taking Venti and saying his CC is too powerful and we don't want that going into Inazuma, so now all of the Nobushi and Kuragi, the samurai that are roaming, don't get pulled by his burst or his skill. So now we add in Kazuha, who can CC them instead of Venti. And adding these specific characters into the Spiral Abyss means that you have to be taking your Fontaine characters into the Abyss, and they currently don't have, as far as I can tell, fleshed out teams. If we know anything about how Holyverse likes to release characters, they like to release either the support first and the DPSs later, so now suddenly you're stuck without your correct supports and you have to wait for the banner to come around, or the DPS first and the supports later, because if you like, oh, this DPS isn't so good and the supports come out later, and then, oh, now I need to get this character. It's kind of how I feel with Cyno and Baiju. Baiju's okay without Cyno, Cyno's okay without Baiju, but together they are absolutely cracked for aggravate teams. Lenny, Lynette for Manette, I feel like are on the level of Tainari and Kali, where they can't be too good, because the first characters to come out, if you immediately get them, or if you get them for free in Lynette's case, they can't be great. So that makes me, they didn't do that much damage. Was there any damage done before they attacked? These guys look absolutely amazing. I love them so much. Suppress mode, where it wields a baton, and defense, what was that, defense when it has the shield? The assault specialist mech looks sick. That's going to be in the Abyss. Has a special defense mode where it holds the shield, a special suppress mode. I hate suppress modes. Ever since the Raiden Shogun fight locked me out of my character's abilities. Oh, I hate that so much. Needing to use specific types of attacks. Yeah, didn't do. There's no damage number, so we can't tell how much health they have. But since they're level 89 and Lynette's level 90, and then she's doing normal, how was the skill that knocked it out? But yeah, looking at that, I think you'll have to do maybe Vape Hu Tao or buffed Ganyu will be able to take him out no problem. But then that's just because you're doing so much damage that it doesn't really matter what extra defenses they have. Oh, so that you automatically get a teleport waypoint. That's okay. But that's good. It's actually really good because to get the Dendro character, the Dendro MC, you have to run all the way across Liyue and part of Sumeru. So it's actually pretty good to get into Fontaine quicker for lower AR players. I wonder if you can make, two of them go down the same path at the same time. Okay, is this gonna completely? That looks absolutely beautiful and it makes a lot of sense lore-wise. If that's gonna be a slow way to just have exposition go across the screen while you're passively moving, don't know if it's my cup of tea. We'll see how it goes. They're so cute. They're the R&R of this this nation. I swear, if they have like an R&R level, their houses look like R&R houses. Okay, I thought that might have been something for Dainsleif, but no, it's not. It's not even close. That's Nouvelette or whoever, right? Doge! If we can't pet Doge, why have it? The main energy source is indemnity. No! What is it? Indemnitium is created by a justice reaction. Indemnitium is created by judgment. Oh, the wordplay. That's actually a beautiful building. It looks way bigger on the inside. Ah, Lenny and Lynette, finally. The first characters that we'll meet in Fontaine. Yo, no hat. Lenny kind of cursed though. Got that hat hair all kind of mushed down. But that you see how his hair kind of flares out. Oh, I guess not. His head doesn't sit that far down, I guess. That's a pretty cool passive. I like it. Passive animation, they're pretty cool. Whoa, he throws cards. He's like Tartaglia throwing the arrow, but he's literally Gambit. Gambit is coming to Genshin. That is so. Oh, that he has charged. He should charge up like throwing cards. Oh. Okay, so he uses a bow and throw. Okay. All right. The Grand Mole. The Grand Malkin. The Grin Malkin. Grin Macon. Grin Malkin. His character kit was written by Sino. Of course, we don't see any scaling numbers. Lenny's charge attack fires off a prop arrow. Upon a hit, it'll summon a Grin Malkin hat. Grin Malkin hat can taunt nearby opponents, and if destroyed, or if its duration expires, it'll set off a pyrotechnic strike at one nearby opponent. It deals pyro damage. It's only one enemy, and only one hat can exist at a given time. Does that just not create a second one, like Zhongli skill, C0 Zhongli? Okay, so that created one, and then you normal attack. Looks like he used his burst and it set off the Grin Malkin hat. Yep, okay. Oh, no, is that his burst? That's gotta be his burst. Okay. Oh, no, his skill might have set it off. Yeah, that would be a skill. And then his burst turns him into it. Okay. And then it creates one when he leaves. Okay. Okay. And then his passive allows you to see Fontaine's specialties. Literally Tainari. Bow user, charged attack bow user, who can see where materials are. Ah, Lynette. Lynette looks like she has some kind of like maybe like a hold E dash kind of thing, like Yalan. Boggle cat box. She does have a running animation, a dashing skill or something. Okay, so it looks like a different version of the Grin Malkin cat. She's a cute character. That she like pulls out her robe. That's cool. So it doesn't look like it speeds her up. It looks like there's just a level like that puts you into like the ability to have an effect. So it would be her E that tags enemies. That might speed her up. Ah, doesn't look like it. Looks like there's consistent animos. I don't want to say swirls, but like ticks. Is she an off-field swirler? That opens up doors. I think an off-field swirler from a skill would be pretty cool.
最多就是全神贯注的待在角落里面品茶，但实际上林妮
Do you see her
非
burst?
常敏锐的观察力，早就在暗中记下了
Was that her burst?
并捕捉到了很多关键的信息。
I know 4-star burst a little bit lackluster, but Lynette's Boggle Cat box taunts nearby opponents. So these are both taunt characters and deals anemo damage to nearby opponents at intervals. It is. As long as that stays when she switches out, that'd be pretty awesome. When Boggle Cat box comes in contact with Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, it'll gain a corresponding element. Okay, so it infuses. And additionally, fire Vivid shots will deal damage from that element at intervals. So I'm assuming the damage that the shots, the Vivid shots deal are based on her elemental mastery or based on one of her stats.
击出迷影突刺，而林妮特的原
From Lynette, HP scaling Claymore Cryo character.
是身边的发条企鹅，名字叫佩伊。
The penguin! Oh, he wears his helmet in combat? That's cool. Oh, he puts his helmet on in his burst. That's so cute. So cool. And he's got the swimming buff. That looks pretty cool. Let's see his kit. I went too far. While Per Timer is active, Freminette's normal attack will increase per pressure level and unleash waves of frost that deal cryo damage. In this state, Freminette's elemental skill will turn into Shattering Pressure, which executes different sorts of attacks based on the pressure level of the Per Timer. Then cancel Per Timer. Is that his skill twice then? Skill normal attack until it gets pressurized and then normal attack again? That's pretty cool. He has a little pressure tank. He's a diver. I like that getting into his character. It looks like he'd be HP scaling, though. That'd be really weird to have his damage scale off of his HP as a normal attack DPS. We're gonna see what his burst does. From what I can tell, he looks like he would work really well with Yun Jin, especially if he has to do normal attacks. Does he infuse himself with... Looks like he infused himself with Cryo for his burst. Cryo Claymore Infusion character. Nice! Boys, it's time to talk about banners. Yanling and Lenny in the first half of 4.0, and Zhongli and Tartaglia in the second half, with Lynette as a 4-star on the first, and Freminette as a 4-star on the second. Let's talk about where you should put your wishes. We'll get a better idea of the kit whenever it's released, and confirmed and released from Lenny. But it looks like he's an on-field DPS character, obviously Pyro, very similar to Tighnari, like I mentioned earlier. However, I don't think he can outweigh the benefit that Yanling brings to any team comp. She replaces or supplements Xingqiu flawlessly. Her skill is basically easy Hydra application to everyone or exploration, quick exploration. Her breakthrough barb is another layer of cryo application, and her burst is absolutely bonkers if you load her up with 4-piece Emblem of Severed Fate and the free 4-star bow that you get at the beginning of the game, Favonius Warbow. She's an absolutely incredible character. Out of these two characters, it's no-brainer you wish for Yanling. Unless you really like Lenny, or you want to collect characters. Out of the second two, Zhongli and Tartaglia. Zhongli is the best shielder in the game. You see that in the video that I just put up on my YouTube channel, talking about how he's the best shielder in the game, also the state of Geo. Go check it out. Tartaglia is a little bit to know. He has two different kind of play styles. You can use him as a bow user and for Hydro application charge shots, but then when you activate his skill, he applies Hydro around him and switches to melee. And the longer you stay in the melee stance, the longer you have to wait for the cooldown to refresh after you end the stance. It can go all the way up to I think like 45 seconds if you stay in it for too long. His melee stance does end when you switch him off the field, and his burst changes depending on if he's in the melee stance or not. You also have to take into account marked enemies while you're in your bow form before the non-melee stance. It's not as complicated as it sounds, but it's a good bit to learn. He works really well in low-cost teams, like international. It's based around him being the on-field driver DPS. So he's a really good character if you're going to take the time to learn him, and especially if you like his kit or the little peeking belly button. On this half, I would say Zhongli. Zhongli can potentially ruin the game and just you never have to dodge, never have to heal if you build him the best way. Zhongli's best in slot, free to play weapon is Black Tassel, because it's the only one that I've come across that has HP percent built for a shielder. So you can just dump early HP artifacts, and then once you get to farming, it's Tenacity of the Millilith. I'm actually farming Archaic Petra for him, not for him to be a DPS, but for him to have better support, create shield crystals with my Ganyu team, and then buff Cryo even more to see if I can get her some more damage. But I do have a 4-piece Tenacity set built for him, and he's amazing. His shield never goes away. I think the maximum health on his shield is on 15,000 HP, which is crazy. That's more than some of the characters that I run. So out of these two, I would go for Zhongli. Overall, between the two, well, we already narrowed it down to Zhongli and Yelan. Out of those four, the best for any account that does not have them is Yelan. At the end of the day, you have shielders. You have Geo characters, you have Noelle, but Yelan just does everything. Hydro is one of the best support elements in the game. Hydro Resonance ups everybody's health. Yelan boosts everybody's attack based on like how long her burst has been on field, building her into a lot of energy recharge with one of her best in slot free-to-play weapons. There's just too much going for her to not be the person that you pick if you have to wish on one of these banners. Obviously, you don't have to wish, but if you decide to wish, the best recommendation would be for Yelan. I cannot wait for Navi to release my next waifu.
纳维亚是刺玫会的现任会长，身为大小姐的她性格乐观，待人热络，行事作风更是相当不拘一格。在 4.0 版本的魔神任务中，我们将与她共同行动，追查一起重要的案件。
Is she a gang leader or just a business leader? Clorind? She's the one with the pistol. So she has a connection to Navia and Tartaglia.
大伟哥刚刚就很在意的性格跳脱的水神
Farina.
还有提前和大家见过面，到处追求着英文的。
Okay, a huge note here. Whatever they decide to do with Charlotte could be revolutionary for transportation and application. A cryo catalyst character, if they can freeze water, would become far more valuable in ice bridging than Kaya. Chances are she won't be able to aim down to hit the water. Maybe a charge attack, but then you're stamina based. That'll be left up to whenever she's released. However, if she has some level of off-field cryo application, that would be crazy for melt teams. Because that would be so good, I don't think they're going to do that. So like her and Hu Tao or her and Yoimiya. But I cannot wait to see what they do with her as a cryo catalyst character. So this will be about the map and the individuals, the enemies. Okay. Oh, combat again. Cool. The environment's pretty cool, but it's not quite why I'm interested in it. Underwater combat. So because they have combat underwater, you're not going to be able to use any of the same enemies, I would think. So it has to be all new, which has the potential to be really good or really stale. All right, combat. Yeah? No? Domains we can rest. Okay, that looks pretty cool.
除了大伟哥刚刚提到的为了警戒和防卫而专门设计的机械卫兵，他们有的还可以海底勘探，有的可以环境侦察，有的可以挖掘采集。面对普通的枫丹公民时，
Are we gonna have to fight all of them? All different types? I mean, it's no problem, but... The new boss, Icewind Sweet. That looks absolutely beautiful. The boss looks incredibly well designed. It looks like it's going to be an interesting combat experience, fighting two different enemies with, it looks like the, are they an Animo boss? Animo Cryo? Literally Andreas 2.0. Fontaine Average. Oh, they're so cute! They want to switch a resort to... Yo, I love it. Man's Crab Raven every day. Emperor of Fire and Iron. This man looks cracked. Get it? Because he's a crab and he cracks things. That's fine. He looks amazing. I love him so much. I would love to have him as a pet. I want a plushie of him. Oh no. Oh no. It's gonna be... No, that's not necessarily underwater, is it? He looks so at peace. That looks like it's underwater. I don't want to fight bosses underwater. Okay, it's not underwater. Look at his attacks. His animations are so cool. Mini Ajdaha. He literally launches something, catches it, and then just like throws it at you. That's awesome. That's really cool. Champion Duelist. They're literally adding guns in as a cultural thing. Yo, kind of out of pocket to do that in France. Love to all my French viewers. Mega Mecha Melee. Yo, you can get a free Bennett. Okay, that is incredible. That is really good. A free Bennett copy. That'll be absolutely cracked for new and free-to-play players. So one of the events that they'll be doing is called, as you can see, Mega Mecha Melee. You'll be able to get a crown, Ascension materials, you see all the stuff, Primo gems, but then you'll also be able to get a Bennett. Okay, the other events. Okay, classic loot. Okay, so just gathering stuff. That's actually pretty good for exploration, getting to know. Even though I might not enjoy it in the moment, that's pretty useful for exploring Fontaine. There you go. Oh, not more photos. No, I hate those. It's not my favorite. Combat challenge, verdict of blades, okay. All right. We have the Mega Mecha Melee. I like the alliteration there. You get a lot of rewards. That is the event that gives you your Crown of Insight. You get a free Bennett, which is amazing for free-to-play and low spender accounts. You can easily get his C1 from the shop, the Paimon's Bargains, that in November when that comes around. C1 removes his HP requirements for his buffs, which is absolutely incredible. Otherwise, he'll heal up to 70% on someone, and then while you're below 70% health, he gives you damage buffs. He won't heal you above 70% health. And then once you get his C1, he will still buff you no matter what your HP is, which is absolutely incredible. It removes that health requirement. C1 Bennett is far superior to C0 Bennett, but C0 Bennett is way better than none. No, it was zero Bennett at all. Relic Records looks fine. Nothing to write home about. I absolutely cannot stand picture-taking events. I will still participate, begrudgingly. Verdict of Blades, traditional combat event, and Leyline Overflow, just good for getting stuff to level up characters. We do get a free copy of Lynette, which should fulfill our Ousia, whatever that, Ousia? How do you say that? Pneuma Ousia reactions, whatever. That should fulfill that side. You get the Traveler that does one, and Lynette does the other. Or they give you another free character in the future that does the other. I don't know. Or the or the Traveler's a switch. But yeah, getting a free Lynette. Lynette looks like she'll be pretty good. From my perspective, another cat girl is fine. Like, that's not what I was going to say there, but I'm interested to see what she can do with her off-field Animo, off-field swirl. If she can even swap out if her Boggle Cat box will stay, or whatever it's called. That's what I'm interested to see with her kit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. That's actually a really... Okay, this is something very important that they're bringing up here. Your day one, you get a couple wishes, you wish on the banner, and you get a character from Inazuma. How can you level him up and send him? You can't. Let's say you get Heizo, and you really like him. He's your driver, right? You can get him level 30. Now you can't ascend him. You can do one ascension, so you can get him to 40. I think that's how that works. So now what do? You have to wait until you actually he's down in the chasm, but you see what I'm saying. Until you get there, you can't ascend him, and then you have to replace him and possibly rebuild your team. So I'm actually interested in what they're going to say about getting the free Lynette. You gain the materials needed to achieve Ascension Phase 1. That's actually pretty good. That's not the best. That doesn't solve the problem, but it makes it a little bit more bearable. That just pushes the problem later, especially because she's from the 5th region. You could travel over there and try to fight the boss and try to get the materials and things like that, but being given a little bit of it won't solve it. Like I said, it'll just kick the can down the road a little bit, but it's better than nothing, and I appreciate that attention to detail. The weapons. We've seen 2 of them so far. First, Great Magic looks, we see that being used by Lenny. I believe it's his signature weapon. Looks pretty cool. I mean, doesn't look like anything to write home about. Looks like it fits with his aesthetic. We don't see any... The important thing with all of these weapons is we don't see any stats. New forgeable weapons. These look absolutely incredible. I feel like we're not going to be able to craft many of them because I think they're going to need to take Midlander billets. If they take Highlander billets, it'd be kind of weird, but I'd be fine with it. I think they're going to take Midlander billets, which you have to craft from Highlander billets. You can get them from Midlander bosses, and that would be Sumeru weeklies. I don't know how else you can get them. I don't know if there's easier ways, but you can definitely get them from crafting your Highlander billets with, I think it's whatever you use to convert one boss material to another. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but you get those from the bosses as well. Finale of the Deep, Title Shadow, Rightful Reward, Flowing Purity, Song of Stillness. These all look pretty cool. I feel like the aesthetic they're going for really matches Farina. These weapons look really cool, which is absolutely nothing to say that you should actually craft them. I think Sumeru's weapons focused on EMER, but I'm not positive. I'd be interested to see what these focus on. Craftable weapons don't usually go into crit. That's usually for banner weapons, 5-star weapons, and season pass, battle pass weapons. So these look really cool, but we'll have to see what the stats look like. Now, these weapons look absolutely cracked. I say that when we don't even know the stats. They look really cool. That is a sword. It's as big as a claymore. If we go back, the sword looks like a sword and the claymore looks like a claymore, but look at that. That sword looks pretty cool. The Scion of the Blazing Sun, I thought that would be his signature bow because I saw pictures of it. You know, someone taped my eyes open and forced me to see pictures of it before today. But that looks like a Sumeru desert kind of thing. Like you see the kind of like the Egyptian architecture in it, like a bit, maybe it's just me, but that looks really cool. I don't know who that would look best on. I feel like its visuals go really well with Dia, but she's not a bow user. Can we just say that the name of the claymore is perfect? The talking stick. I hope that is one of the most broken claymores in the game, just for the memes of it being called Talking Stick. That's it. Ballad of the Fjords. I like the trident. I mean, Sacrificial Jade kind of looks mid for a weapon that you like. It depends on the character that you put it on. You don't see it that often. And any off-field character usually just has Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayer anyway for your support, unless they need substats or the bonus effect of another weapon. I can't wait to put Talking Stick on my D-Luke or something like that. It looks really cool. Sacrificial Jade, again, looks kind of mid. I hope that it's not that good because I don't want to grab it because I don't like the visuals of it. At the end of the day, everything is just a stat stick. It just depends on how loaded up it is. That's a sword? Dude, I can't wait to beat the shit out of somebody with a pipe. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. I don't know how to say that. Fleuve Sense. Okay, let's let me Google it.
Fleuve Cendre. Fleuve Cendre. Fleuve Cendre.
I don't even know. Fleuve Cendre. The Fleuve Cendre ferryman. Oh my goodness, Jeff would know. Jeff's, I believe he's French. We need to reference the master in this case. But I cannot wait to beat my enemies over the head with a literally a pipe. Like the T-fittings, the elbow, the pressure gauge. Oh, this is steampunk if I've ever seen. I hope that is a, I don't know. I feel like that would be best built as a physical sword. I don't think we have any sword users that would really class into physical. I would build a physical sword DPS just because the weapon looks so cool and because sword users' weapons are out on display at all times. Oh, new artifacts. Marichus Hunter and Golden Troop. They look so pretty. These artifacts look really cool. Again, the looks do not matter at all. Groucho Marx looking mother. I mean, the steampunk aesthetic looks amazing for
Maréchaussée.
Maréchaussée. The Maréchaussée Hunter looks absolutely amazing. I love the looks of that. Golden Troop looks pretty cool. It looks upper class, you know. I like the look of it. Optimization and upgrades. Multi-layered map that's already in the Teyvat interactive map. If that's coming to, that's actually pretty cool. Genius TCG spectating. That could now be the start of the esport. Not saying that it's going to be an esport, but it could be. Party setup screen. Okay, it's too much to hope for, but that makes me think there's a potential for loadouts. I like that. The different layered maps is really good. Oh, that looks really good. Oh my goodness, that's so much better. So you know exactly where you're teleporting. Yes, they're gonna do it for the Sumerian Desert too. That's awesome. That looks so much better. Okay, the party setup screen. Okay, that's gonna be cool. Easy swap. Okay, I think that looks way better. Rather have artifact loadouts though. I think this looks really cool. Adding a little bit more personality, you can easily swap them around. Oh, that looks so clean. It looks so fresh. Eventually, okay, I just watched like Brand Online made a video about what 1.0 looked like and compared it to things now, or he made a video reacting to someone's video, well, whatever it is, and it really brought out that sense of like, oh, things used to be this other way and they improved things a lot. And for players who had been on for the entire ride, it brought back like a sense of nostalgia, which is really cool. I think it's going to be the same way with this party setup. I use the party setup screen in my videos to display character builds. This would change that, and I think it would make it a little bit more entertaining to see passives, like passive animations, while I'm doing that. Not saying that's how I'm going to stick with it. Nobody's really giving me feedback, positive or negative, so that gives me a little bit more freedom in what I want to do there. But I like that this will now be a little bit more entertaining than just the character standing there. For me personally, and how I like to edit my videos, this is amazing. I absolutely love it. You can change the background, you can easily swap characters around. Oh, I love it. I do a lot of finagling with my teams. And that is all that I had. So, chat, what do you guys think about the release? The things that I went over, anything that I missed that you wanted to hear my insight on, or anything that you want to discuss further? I am interested in seeing where it goes from here. That cannot be it. I'm going to go through and watch a couple other people's videos about artifacts and stuff like that to see what they think, what strongboxes they think are coming out. But again, I don't think any of that's been confirmed. I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out. If you have not dropped me a follow, please follow me. It costs you nothing. And I'll be giving away some stuff in my 4.0 stream. So whenever 4.0 releases, I will be streaming that night to immediately start playing. I will be wishing for Lenny because I want to test out the character and get back to you guys as soon as possible on how good he is, what teams he works on, stuff like that. But I do really want to give back. So we'll be doing giveaways starting that day. We'll do some quizzes together. I actually got permission from a YouTuber to react to their quizzes. Not react to, but like take their quizzes. And if I do poorly, I might just have to give some welcomes out. So, and we'll have some guaranteed giveaways that we'll be doing, but it will be for followers only. So drop me a follow and make sure to show up whenever. I think it's the 16th now. My calculation put it on the 15th, but by how like the banners fall. But yeah. So if you